Millions of Americans go to seminars every weekend. Millions. And they pay thousands of dollars to go to these seminars to learn about business. And then they go to their homes and then they start their business, maybe, and then they fail and they quit and they stop immediately. Why is this? It's true that the educational industrial complex treats all of our students like children, and I don't mean like 18-year-olds, I mean like 3-year-olds. They do absolutely nothing to prepare a high school student to become an adult. At 18, he's supposedly an adult, right? Yet most 18-year-olds, from their educational background, are incapable of surviving on their own through their own wits. What do they know about taxes? What do they know about renting or buying a house? They know nothing about it. In fact, a lot of them drive cars and don't even know all the requirements to get on the road via the Democrats who set up these fees and taxes for you to actually get on the road. All of these regulations that they are required to get. Now let's go back to the original statement that the people start businesses and quit. I won't even get into the people that don't even start the business. They have a desire to start a business, but they don't actually start it. They are defeated before they even start. Why would they pay thousands of dollars to go to seminars to get manuals and booklets and tapes and videos, CDs, CD-ROMs, and do not actually start the business? And then we take that a step further and talk about the people who do start businesses. It's that they don't do their due diligence. Lawyers talk about due diligence all the time. Do your due diligence on this house, on this business, on this commercial property. Do your due diligence. But they don't do their due diligence in life in general, or even when they're trying to start a business. And what is really real due diligence? It's actually trying to learn the mistakes of others. And that's really what I want to talk about today. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. People have said the most that they ever learned, the most that they ever grew and expanded in their business or in life was learning from their own mistakes. And people say, oh, don't dwell on mistakes. You should dwell only on mistakes. In a relationship, you should dwell only on mistakes. Why? You need to learn from that mistake what not to do. In business, you dwell on those mistakes to learn what not to do. And a lot of people can't understand that that's where you grow. That's where you have your explosion of expansion. You learn from your mistakes. You contract with a distributor and he's terrible, and yet you keep contracting with that distributor. Learn from your mistakes. Go to a mentor and learn all of his mistakes. Ask him point blank, what mistakes did you learn at this level, at the next level, at the level after that? Learn from the mistakes. And when people say don't dwell on mistakes in a relationship, they are treating you like a child. Yes, recognize a mistake in a relationship, dwell on it, and learn from it. It makes absolutely no sense to keep getting divorced and divorced and divorced and divorced. You're not learning from your mistakes. You're not learning what went wrong. Was it a mistake to look for a woman with A, B, and C characteristics? Because I guarantee you that D that you're not even realizing is there in all of them. And you're getting divorced over and over and over. You're not learning from your mistakes. The same thing applies in business. There are people who are serial entrepreneurs. That means they start a business and fail, start a business and fail. They're not learning from their mistakes. And sometimes those are really expensive lessons that they're learning. there's a group of guys who started a business, and they had business plan and everything, and they spent over a year and millions of dollars, and that business completely folded. But they said that that was the best learning experience of their life because it taught them exactly what their strengths were and what they did not want to do. Isn't that something? They learned what they did not want to do. They had a picture of what kind of business, exact business, they had a plan and everything of what they wanted to do, and in that year of burning through $1 million or so, they learned what not to do, that they didn't want to do that. And this is what we really need to focus on. When you start a business, focus on mistakes. Focus on mistakes, and don't focus on, here's the problem with black people. They hear a rapper say, "Oh, I'm making all this money. I'm making all this money. I'm driving this. I'm wearing these types of clothes. I'm drinking this type of alcohol. I'm buying stuff for everybody." They're not focusing on, no rapper is going to say, "I spent 16 hours in the studio. I spent 16 hours in the studio every day for 6 months because we had to edit and re-edit and redo, and then we had to take the videos and we had to edit the music into the videos, and that was 16 hours, 20 hours. Sometimes I didn't sleep for weeks and I got 4 hours of sleep in a week." They don't say that part. We look at the Olympics and we say, "Oh, we have a gold medalist. Yay, she's a gold medalist." But she spent a decade trying to tumble over a horse. She spent a decade doing a floor routine. She spent a decade doing the hoops. The football players spent hours of practice after everybody went home after school. The math genius, so-called genius, spent hours practicing math, hours every day, twice on Sunday. And people don't realize that. It takes work. And they talk about the people who were overnight sensations. Anita Baker, she was an overnight sensation. No, she spent 20 years playing gigs in small-time clubs until somebody discovered her. We don't hear about that. You have to put in the time. You have to do your due diligence. And that means learning from mistakes. And also, it also means hiring an attorney. Attorneys in business are gold. Pure gold. We talk about you need to own some gold. Attorneys in business are pure gold. Buying a house should always mean contracting an attorney. Always. Contracting an attorney to go over the deal. And the attorney will say, "Nope, this is not the deal." And a lot of people don't want to hear that. And a lot of people in business don't want to hear that. They don't want to go to an attorney and the attorney say, "No, this is a bad deal." Because the person will get so emotionally attached to that, and they don't want to let go. And that's a mistake. And that's a mistake about to happen. That is a disaster about to happen. "No, I really want this property. I really want this real estate." And there's a bee in my house. "I really want this property. I really want this real estate. I'm so invested emotionally into this real estate, this piece, this object that is just sitting there doing absolutely nothing, not loving me." And they get emotionally attached. Why? For absolutely no reason. And let me just go over this one more time. For black people, it was not communism that got you to be CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. There's so many pro-black people and black liberation people that are so anti-capitalist. You're fools. Please stop leaving comments on my channel. You can unsubscribe for all I care. Really, I'm sick to death of it. Take your ignorant selves away from my channel. You are destroying the black community. Communism is death to black people. Socialism is death to black people. What you do not understand is you are miseducated on capitalism in the first place. I tried very hard to explain it all in my last video. Capitalism means that I am a serial partner. I make partners with my distributors. I make partners with my realtor. I make partners with my attorneys. I make all of these little tiny partnerships, these informal partnerships that leads to profit for me and my business partners and my associates, associates. Obama was right in one aspect. You didn't build it by yourself. No, you didn't build it by yourself. You built it the capitalistic way, which is you made little tiny informal partnerships to build your business, to build your tiny empire. The state had nothing to do with it. The state is in the way. Obama is in the way. Obama destroys business. Communism and socialism is death to the black community. It is capitalism that brought us from sharecroppers to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. And if you listen to any of these so-called black intellectuals that tell you that communism is the way, socialism is the way, and what you think socialism is not what you think it is, that we need to live in communes, that we need to live in a communistic sort of way. No, we need to first learn what true capitalism is, pick up Adam Smith's book, Wealth of Nations, which is the abridged version of the actual title, read it from cover to cover 20 times. Read it from cover to cover 20 times. Understand that if I build my business, I build my community. If I build my business, I'm by definition gonna have to hire black people in my community and give them a part of my profit. Do you know that? That's what hiring people means. That they're gonna take part of your profit. Oh, you didn't know that. That's what we're actually talking about. If you start a business and your business grows, you take part of your profit and hire people. And you give them a part of your profit. Whether that's negotiating for an hourly salary, a monthly salary, a profit sharing sort of construction, that's what it means. That's capitalism. That's not socialism. Socialism means everybody is destroyed in the process. Communism is everybody is destroyed in the process. You're treated like cattle in socialism. You're treated like goats and children in communism. It destroys the black communities. So please, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it because you have absolutely... Go study capitalism for 20 hours. And I mean capitalism. I don't mean the liberal definition of capitalism. I don't mean the democratic definition of capitalism. I don't mean the Wall Street definition of capitalism because that's not capitalism. When you understand capitalism, how about this? Get 50 different sources of capitalism, read them all, and you will determine in your brain, if you're logical, which ones are lying and which ones are true. And you will finally see what capitalism really is. You have been miseducated. Black people love to talk about being miseducated, but they do absolutely nothing to go and do research. Go and do some research on capitalism. Then come back to me, and while you're at it, why don't you go study 1,000 black inventors, businessmen from 1919 to 2014, and then come back at me. Absolutely none of them were socialists. Absolutely none of them were communists. There was a time when black people could not patent their inventions, and white people took the patent away from them, or stole it basically, and reaped all of the profits. I want you to study that period too. Understand what capitalism has done for the black community. It had nothing to do with welfare. It had nothing to do with food stamps. Thank you for calling. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show.